LIEnette is about to abandon her deposition. She won't answer questions. She actually admitted on the record that Crook owns none of the property. Now she keeps saying, well, if you believe it, in your opinion, to Randy. She's also been complaining about people posting things about her own child. And yet, who's the person that has used this child from the very beginning for fundraising scam after fundraising scam after fundraising scam, and literally even posted with the child online yesterday, making it public? She's in trouble, just like her lawyer, LOL DEUCE, who got a motion denied this morning. We find out that he has representation now against the Florida Bar Association because the Florida Bar is apparently moving forward with the dozen felony charges. That means jail. Randy just got done asking LIEnette a lot of questions about her Northport home, about the Otter Creek property, about the homes that were on the property, about stating she was my new neighbor. And LIEnette did what she does best. She lies. How could LIEnette tell Randy straight-faced in a deposition that she was our new neighbor? Because everything was done. They were waiting on the buyer who had the money, right? How could that be possible? Now, if you're going, Jeremy, I don't even know what you're referring to, don't worry. There's a bunch of videos in this series on the deposition. It's the one before this. YouTube actually dates every single video in multiple places. If you just go back to the video tab, you can find it. LIEnette states to Randy, in her mind, she was our new neighbor. Randy goes, well, you didn't own the property, so how could you be his neighbor? She goes, well, everything was done. It was basically ours. We had an offer. We were just waiting on money from the buyer for our Northport home. That means they had a contingency contract. So they put in an offer. It was $22,500 on the Otter Creek Purgatory, contingency based on selling their property. They come to the property in July, tell me through email, we have the emails. We're your new neighbors. We're gonna put up a sanctuary for turtles. Because I used to always say, I love turtles. Not anymore. I love goats. Goats. They get my totes get my goats. She goes on to say that everything was all done. They were just waiting on the financing from the buyer, except this is a major lie. LIEnette's Otter Creek property contingent on the sale of the property in Northport, except when she's stating she's my new neighbor in July of 2021. The Northport home is not on the market for sale yet. She's a pathological, manipulating witch. Demon possessed, most likely. This is insane. The way her toothless mouth just seethes lie after lie after lie. She's telling Randy everything was already lined up. We were just waiting for the financing from the buyer on Northport. No. The home wasn't even on the market yet for sale. The insanity of it all. The complete and total insanity of it all. And of course, I'm sure you know, it's going to get crazier. To the point where Randy actually has to stop the deposition. So let's jump right back into it. Blame me. Everybody else does. Deuce, LIEnette, fat toothless flea. Okay. So Randy was just asking questions about house number 1, house number 2, house number 3. LIEnette's going, we couldn't rebuild. The floor and the electric was bad in house number 3. Kind of sounded like Yoda. Randy goes, you're jumping all over the place here with your answers. Can I just get a yes or a no? Listen carefully to my questions. You're adding different answers back and forth. She's lying. LIEnette goes on, interrupts him again. He goes, excuse me, ma'am, you're literally interrupting me right now. He goes, what did you just say? She goes, nothing. Randy goes, okay. House number 3. In your opinion, as you sit here today, house number 3, 1 second, tear that page off. Was it livable when you purchased the property? You know, this is a major thing because to have a homestead in Florida, Levy County, Otter Creek, they have to have a legally livable home dwelling with an occupancy permit. She's claiming there's 3 homes on this property. Not a single one have an occupancy permit. We already know Levy County has condemned everything, sold the property as vacant land. There is no residential dwelling on the property. She goes, no, not at the time we purchased it. No. So Randy follows up with the question, okay, so did Levy County say this to you? Because she said in house number 1, it was falling apart. They couldn't do anything. House number 2 was falling apart. They couldn't do anything. House number 3 had a bad floor and had bad electric, but they can't do anything. Which Randy went on to say, well, why didn't you just remodel it? Why don't you spend minimal amount of money remodeling something to live in instead of putting up some barn? You know, a shelving. So he goes on to say, did Levy County say that you can't live there, that you have to take all these structures down? Did Levy County say that you could not repair house number 3? Because LIEnette, under oath, said it only had a bad floor and had bad electric. Did they say it must be taken down? She said, yes! Because it's condemned. It's condemned property. Oh my goodness, you're going to get into some of the most foolish stuff from LIEnette here. I'm just shaking my head as I'm taking notes. Randy goes, okay, well, that's a very different answer than just saying the floor needs to be repaired or electric work needs to be done. And it would be too expensive to actually repair house number 3 on this property. She goes, it's not too expensive. Whoa, 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 whoa. Randy goes, are you saying it is too expensive to do this remodel repairs? Because that's what she answered earlier in the deposition. Or legally, you could, and then she starts screaming and yelling. I can't even get down everything she's screaming and yelling. She's just all over the place. She's manic, she's screaming, she's yelling. And Randy goes, again! There's the interruption again. He goes, saran wrap. Again, Randy is very professional. He is not calling her counselor saran wrap. I do it just to protect people's names. Saran wrap. Can you please get your client under control? I can't say this enough. Saran wrap was very professional. He, in my opinion, is a horrible lawyer. Clueless at times. As a matter of fact, there are many judges have stated that on the record. Or along those terms. I'm paraphrasing. But he was very professional in this hearing. And he does, yet again, try to get LIEnette under control. He goes, LIEnette, he's calling her Michelle, which is not her legal name. Right. Come to find out, she never did give us our legal name, did she? Except she gave us LIEnette Michelle Barber, which is on her birth certificate. It's the only legal name we actually got from her. He goes, let him finish the question. This way, we have a complete and clear record. That's the whole purpose. We need everything in the record. We need to allow people to finish the question. He will allow you to finish the answer. Even if you can anticipate the question, allow it to be finished being asked. There's a point to writing everything down. This is a legal under oath document. This is being used in court, in trial, and she's screwed. Saran Wrap didn't say she's screwed, but Saran Wrap already knows she's screwed. I guarantee you that. He goes on to say, listen, it's for your benefit. You are actually going to benefit. If you stop and you pause and you just listen, it eats up more time. He didn't say it eats up more time. I'm throwing that in there. But he's trying to allude. Come on. Saran Wrap goes, I apologize for talking so much on the record. Now, you have to understand, 3 times Saran Wrap has asked the deposition to be paused so he can get LIEnette under control off the record. He's not even trying to do it off the record anymore. He is doing it on the record. The court will see everything. The judge will see everything. So he goes, I'm sorry for talking so much on the record. Randy goes, no, I truly appreciate it. This is to our benefit. How many times has she been reprimanded already? How many times has this deposition been put on pause already? Saran Wrap isn't even asking for it to be paused anymore. He just wants her to stop. Randy goes, no, I actually appreciate it. Believe me, I've said this how many times to her already? This is insanity. It obviously isn't sinking in. So Randy says again, take a breath before you answer. Wait for me to stop. Then Randy is even trying to help her. He goes, if I'm not saying anything, then you know it's okay to start answering. Let me finish my question. He goes, okay. She won't answer. It is a question. Okay? He asks again. She goes, yes! Randy goes on. Okay, so do you understand? There's 2 different answers you've given here. And I'm trying to figure out which is which. I want to know what's the truth. You said that you couldn't fix the home because of the flooring and the electrical, because it was going to be too expensive, right? She goes, yes! Okay, but that's not true, is it? The real reason is that Levy County told you that it is non-repairable at all, no matter at what cost, right? You will not believe LIEnette's answer. Basically both! No, it's not a both. It's one or the other. Levy County has condemned the structures. Randy, in his patience and his wisdom, he goes, okay, well then tell us how it's both, because they're very different. She goes, they're not different! He goes, okay, then explain it, how they're not different. She goes, there is too much work that had to be done to make it a livable dwelling. Oh, so she just admits on the record again, there's no livable dwelling. That means there's no legal dwelling. That means there's no homestead exemption. That means they will have to pay back all illegal homestead exemptions they have benefited from these past few years lying to Levy County. A little bit more foreshadowing. We will get there. It's already in the process with Levy County. Okay, so Randy goes, did Levy County tell you it can't be rebuilt or repaired? Here we go. Yes, and I've already said that. Wait, now hold a second. Didn't LIEnette say that she wanted something else? Be too expensive. Okay. So Randy goes, why would it matter how much money it takes? If somebody came in with $10 million, let's say Jeremy Hales comes in with $10 million, wants to spend it on rebuilding the flooring, the electrical system, which is interesting because I own a 100-year-old schoolhouse that needs new flooring, potentially new electrical. I mean, there's been a lot of things I've been doing, remodeling a 100-year-old schoolhouse. So somebody like Jeremy Hales comes in and goes, listen, cost, no, doesn't matter. Spare no expense. I want it back to its original beauty. Levy County would still say no? Now, Randy didn't use me as an example. I'm using me as an example. Is that what you're telling us here today? That you would not be able to remodel that beautiful home on that beautiful piece of property, sparing no expense if I had millions of dollars. She goes, I have no idea what the county would say. Randy goes, okay. You just said and testified what they told you. She goes, no, you're asking me to think about what they would say. And no, I'm not. I'm following your statements under oath. Randy goes, did Levy County tell you that yes, it can be repaired no matter what the cost? No! She is getting more angry, more volatile, filled with rage. I've only known one other person that has more anger, more rage, more internal battles than LIEnette. It's scary. Okay. So why did you tell us under oath that it would just be too expensive to do it? So you decided to build a whole new house, which isn't even a house, it's a shell thing. Why did you tell us that under oath? Because we talked to the engineer and the man that was there, that's exactly what he said. Hold a second. LIEnette under oath says that's exactly what he said. A conversation from 2021. Earlier in her deposition, she stated that she can't recall or remember things because she has PTSD from childhood. And the abuse that's going on at her home with Crook is just too much. It's affecting her ability to remember everything. But now she remembers a conversation with the engineer from 2021 in full detail. It's exactly, she didn't say I'm paraphrasing, exactly what he said. So now she can pick and choose what she actually remembers. Isn't that interesting? Isn't the judge going to love this in federal court? Randy goes on, who was the man that was there? Oh, we get details. She remembers the details. We had an hour-long conversation with the manager. She remembers exactly how long the conversation was. What happened to PTSD? What happened to the current abuse and stress? She can't remember anything. But man, we're going back 5 years and she knows it all now. Randy goes, okay, well, what's the man? Who's the man? I don't recall. There's the PTSD. There we go. She doesn't remember his name. That's odd because we have a lot of text messages between him and her. It was all FOIA'd. All for the trial. We have it all. And she has a lot of nasty things to say about fat, toothless fleece of flea. A lot. A lot of it was recent. Randy goes on to say, did he represent the government authority? He was Levy County Inspections. He's an engineer. Okay. So was that the only person that was there? She goes, I asked them to send out their engineer who inspects properties to see what you can do with it. And they sent him out, and that was the conversation we had. We talked about a lot of things. Well, PTSD memory is, that issue is gone now. She remembers all these things they talked about. Comes and goes, like that getting diabetes. Them heart issues, fat, toothless fleece of flea has, comes and goes. Gotta get my teeth pulled, got some heart issues. My long-term flu, I got the flea flu. I wonder what Deuce is gonna get in a jail cell. By the way, Deuce was listening. He's such a coward. He was listening to his hearing under his wife's account on Zoom instead of his own. What a coward. A coward. Randy goes, I understand you're giving me two different reasons. You understand the issue here. She's lying under oath, perjury. We got two different reasons. You can't rebuild because it's too expensive or it's condemned, one or the other. She has no occupancy permits whatsoever. She's already stated that the county said that she can't do anything. That all has to be torn down. They have no homestead. The federal bankruptcy court, the trustee, is seizing all the property. They already know they're seizing all the property. They've offered it to me multiple times. I've declined. Randy goes on to say, did he ever say to you, you know what, it's just too expensive to remodel. You're going to have to rebuild. Is that what you're telling me here today? He said it's too expensive or it legally cannot be done. She goes on to say, well, that's one of the things he said. Wait, are you saying he said both? He said a lot of things. How can she remember? How? It's the PTSDs. How? Randy goes, let's try this again. Are you saying that he said both? You cannot remodel or rebuild. The structure is condemned. Or it would be too expensive to remodel and rebuild the flooring and the electrical. Did he say both? Yes! And she's getting meaner and meaner and meaner by the second. Did you get any paperwork on that? Randy wants to know. That said it couldn't be repaired. It's just too expensive. Levy County give you any paperwork? And LIEnette starts screaming, interrupting the whole deal. I can't even get down everything that's coming out of her putrid mouth, okay? It's just a bunch of, and I guarantee you it's not going to be in the transcripts either, because the court reporter cannot type two people talking at the same time when it's all, and I can't take notes at the same time, two people talking at the same time over each other. What you're going to see in the transcripts are Randy going, again with the interruptions. Take a breath before you answer. Did you get any paperwork from Levy County that says the property cannot be repaired? It's just too expensive. No. Okay. So as you sit here today, your testimony is house number 1, house number 2, house number 3 could not be legally repairable at all. No matter the expense, correct? Yes! Thank you. Randy, through all of this, still being polite and thanking her. So basically, you're stating that there was no legal residential structure that was occupiable. That's the question, right? If there is no livable legal structure, there is no homestead. Therefore, there is no homestead exemption with bankruptcy. And bankruptcy court already knows this. You just have to go through the process and the procedures. You got the deposition, you're going to have the hearing, then it's going to be seized, then it's going to be sold. You have to go through the proper steps. They already know this. They already seen all of this. The steps still have to be gone through. Randy goes on to say, this Otter Creek property, when you purchased it, it was not occupiable, correct? Well, when you say it that way, correct. There was no home occupiable. We were told we had to rebuild. Boom! Now she's going to blame this all on me, right? She just under oath stated there is no homestead exemption. She never had an occupancy permit. All the homes were condemned. She has no legal home. A shed is not a home. A camper is not a home. A camper is allowed to be there for so many weeks. During a build, they are not building. They have no permits whatsoever. They have no occupancy permit for whatsoever. They're pooping and peeing in a bucket, while an almost 7-year-old is still in a diaper. Randy goes on to say, do you understand that that means the county is condemning the structure when they do that? You do know that, right? They did not condemn it! To condemn it means they were to put a sign condemned. They didn't do that. Oh my goodness. Levy County, do you think anybody is proactive enough to put signs up condemned? By the way, when a property is condemned, you don't put a sign up front, huge flashing lights, condemned, condemned, condemned. Okay, Randy says, so you're saying the 3 houses in Otter Creek property, they were never condemned by Levy County. So how do you understand condemning something, ma'am? What's to be condemned? She goes, I've seen properties that were condemned and they put a big red sign on it. It says condemned. It should be condemned right now, right? There should be a huge red sign out there. Condemned! Except there's a sign out there that says, a smelly, stinky e-baker is around here. Huh. There's actually 2. LIEnette, CROOK. Do not enter! We never had that happen on our property. Randy goes on, I never asked you about a sign anywhere. How did you understand it not to be condemned or condemned? She goes, no one told me. He goes, again! So he was in the midst of a question, and she's in the process of interrupting, yelling, screaming, volatile, angry, rage, you name it, toothless rage. He goes, again, you interrupted me. He goes, you know what, Saran Wrap? If this happens one more time, now keep this in mind, I am going to stop the deposition. Do you understand stopping the deposition doesn't stop LIEnette's responsibility? And he follows it up with this. I'm going to get the transcript. I'm going to take it to the judge. I can't do this. I simply cannot do this. We are going to get a special master in here that's going to have to start racking up fines and sanctions on every time she does this. We're only at 10:49 a.m. This must have happened how many times at this point? Despite your best efforts, Saran Wrap. So Randy is talking to Saran Wrap right now. You've told your witness, I've told the witness, wait until a question is fully completed before answering. Is there anything you can do with her? I just can't continue this way. We are wasting the court reporter's time. The flow of the deposition changes. Every time she does this, Saran Wrap on the record steps in. Michelle, let him finish the questions. I know you want to answer. I know you're anticipating the question. This isn't a conversation. Saran Wrap tells her, this isn't a conversation, and you have to remember that. This is a deposition. It's different. And frankly, like I've said before, it's for your own benefit. Honestly answer the questions. To do it that way, letting him finish. Even if you know what he's going to say, take a second. Give me an opportunity to object as well. Saran Wrap has to tell her to shut up so he can object. Randy comes in with Saran Wrap and says, right, your lawyer even wants to object, but you're interrupting us both. He goes, look at me, ma'am. Look at me. If this happens, despite our best efforts, if it happens one more time, we're taking this up to the judge for sanctions. Do you understand? Yes, sir. Now, did you hear Randy say we're stopping the deposition and you can go get John and Harley and you can pack everything up and leave? No, he outlined we will pause here. He used the word stop. That the questions will stop. We're then taking the transcript from the court reporter to the judge. Then we're getting a special magistrate that's going to sit right down here next to you. And every time you interrupt, there's going to be another sanction. Here's another $1,000. Here's another $1,000. Here's another $1,000. At no point in time was she told she could leave. But we all know she skipped out, didn't she? Randy goes on to say, we're going to take this up for sanctions with the judge. Do you understand? Yes, sir. Do you understand how important this is? And he's asking these questions. She interrupts again. And he goes, she just interrupted me again. Do you see that? Like I said, do you understand how important this is? She does it again. And he goes, and boom, there it is again. And she goes, yes, sir. He He goes, you had no idea what I was going to continue to say. Now I'm finishing his sentences because I wrote them down. I did not write down her interruptions. I can't even remember what her interruptions were. They were so insane. She goes, you said, do you understand how important this is? And I said, yes, sir. Now, Randy never got the full question out, be clear. He goes, that's not what happened. And everyone here knows it. Do you understand how important it is to the point where if you don't allow me to finish a question, we're going to take this, again, he states this, we're going to the judge. And we're going to ask for sanctions again against you, which she's already sanctioned extremely heavily. So are you willing to stop interrupting me and answer my questions when I'm finished? She says yes. She'll stop interrupting Randy. That doesn't last long at all. Randy says, so when you say there were 3 structures on the property, on the existing land, the beautiful third purgatory, the legacy. This is the legacy property here. It's a legacy. Don't forget that, because who wouldn't want this pile of trash? They want to stand on this trash. When you say that there were 3 structures that you purchased, it wasn't condemned. They were not. No condemnation whatsoever. They were not condemned by Levy County. And the reason is because you didn't see a big red sign saying condemned. She goes, I'm saying because prior to us buying it, there were people living in it. I suppose prior to anybody buying a piece of property, there might have been somebody living in it. As a matter of fact, I just went on a Bigfoot hunting expedition, and there was a cave that I was in called Old Man Cave. And it's called Old Man Cave because prior to me visiting there in the 1800s, a man was living in it. The Old Man's Cave. What does that have to do with condemnation? Condemning a piece of property. I cannot believe this. She goes, so in my mind, it had not been condemned. I didn't see a sign saying condemned. Levy County told us we had to rebuild. What mind? That's what I really want to know. What mind? You, when I say you, LIEnette, had an ultimate plan to try and make millions of dollars off of my name. Off of me and George living across the street on 70 acres, thinking she was going to make so much money. She's made text messages and posts. She was going to put up signs, come buy my eggs, support my turtles. She's literally stated in text message, since I couldn't get donations at Half Meal to Grill, I'm not going. Oh, but she never asked for any money, right? She bought a piece of property, not knowing it was, number 1, condemned. Not knowing, number 2, she doesn't own mineral rights. Not knowing, number 3, she's never going to have enough money to even build a home. Not knowing she's going to lose it in federal bankruptcy court because of the illegal things she has done. Randy says, so they didn't say to you, you got a condemned piece of property? That's all they said? You just have to rebuild? Because the structures were condemned? She goes, no! He never used the word condemned. Okay, so you're saying under oath that Levy County never condemned this property, these structures. No, he never used that word. Okay. And you believe it wasn't condemned because at some point in history, there were people living there before you actually bought it. By the way, there's been a tremendous amount of people dumping there. Oh, there's still people dumping in buckets. It is 100 times worse, filthier, smellier since that Great Wall of Otter Creek went up. I can see everything. My truck is higher than the fence. It's horrific. Can't imagine a child living in that. So because people lived there at some point in time, you thought, and there's no sign out there from Levy County saying, condemned, condemned, condemned. You thought this was livable, occupiable property.
No, I'm saying because he never used the word condemned.
Okay, so this is a third reason now that you're stating in regards to why you were rebuilding, had to take the structures down. The man never said condemned. The representative of Levy County never said condemned. That means Levy County never condemned it? Is that right?
She goes, yes.
Okay. So in all reality, you never checked to see if Levy County condemned any of the structures. Is that right?
No.
Shocker. She saw dollar bills, just like Deuce did, who has felony charges coming and most likely a jail sentence. They wanted money and fame off of my name. Now they're infamous, and they will be broke for the rest of their lives. And they're not the only ones. Randy thanks her. Do you know that the structures were condemned, ma'am?
No, I don't know that.
Did you get a permit for demolition?
They didn't tell me I needed one.
She's getting more volatile. And the third house, you demolished that structure as well? The one that only needed new floors and a little bit of electrical work?
Yes!
And when you moved to that property again, when you first moved to that property, you said that was...
I'm not sure of the date.
Okay. How long did you live in that piece of property?
I lived at the campground first.
Okay, well then, how long were you at the campground? You were at the campground. You just stated that.
Yes.
All right, here's what I'm concerned about. Getting back to the, you say you closed on the Otter Creek property on the same day with Northport. And you said there was no mortgage?
Right, no mortgage.
Okay. Well, on the Northport sale, how much money did you make?
$64,000.
Randy goes, okay, so with the purchase price of the Otter Creek property, you had to pay out just a little bit over $11,000 on your half to purchase it at closing, right?
No, I paid all $23,000.
Thank you!
Crook owns nothing.
Under oath, she admits two things. Number one, her name is the only name, even though it's not her legal name. Number two, she's the only one to ever put any money into it. Oh, it gets better. It gets better. Randy goes, okay, so your money, it went first. You stated that you made like $65,000 at closing. She goes, yes, I did. Well, didn't Mr. Crook also make like $65,000 at closing? So if I'm sticking with you here, you said you had to pay at closing one half of $22,500, correct?
No, that's not how we did it.
Okay. How did you do it then? And here we go, baby.
I put the money out first, and John and I had an agreement. My money would go first. I purchased the property with all my money, and he would pay for the slab and just things. We would commingle our money.
She literally used the word commingle, and she's never heard this word before, realizing, watching online, that she's been commingling illegally turned purgatory funds with her personal funds. She's never even known this word.
We were commingle the money to purchase and rebuild.
Randy goes, okay, hold a second. There's a lot going on here. One moment. You paid the entirety of the purchase price at closing, correct?
Yes, I wrote a check.
Oh. And Crook, he paid nothing?
I don't recall if he paid at closing, if he paid other fees or what I paid. I don't recall how he did it. That's interesting because 30 seconds ago she said she paid for everything and they had an agreement and he was going to pay for the slab and utilities. And I don't remember everything she said. She listed off a bunch of stupid stuff. The important thing is she admitted under oath he paid nothing for the property. She paid everything. Now she can't remember. Must be that PTSD again. Randy goes, okay, so if you don't know exactly, what was the exchange then? If you guys, you said you were going to pay in full for the property, what was the exchange that Crook had promised? What did he promise you?
He didn't promise me anything. I said we had an agreement.
Randy goes, stop right there. This is, do you not understanding a promise and an agreement? This is the exact same thing.
I never used the word promise. Ha!
She's looking him in the eyes now. Do you understand that a promise is an agreement? As a matter of fact, promising note, these are legal terms. She is no lawyer or electrician or firefighter or minister. Lord, please, not a minister. Do you understand that's this exact same thing, a promissory agreement? That those two words are used together. Do you think that a promise is different than agreeing to something?
Yeah.
How so, then?
My interpretation of the word.
Here we go.
Tell us then. Enlighten us.
We're here to understand your interpretation, Randy says. We've got to value your credibility. We want to understand how you understand the word promise, how it's something different than agreement.
Well, when you promise somebody something, you tell them, Michelle, I promise you, I swear to God, I'm going to do this. And that's not what happened.
Nope. No. No.
Randy goes, okay, so well, how is an agreement any different?
The agreement is you just say, hey, we both agree to this. I'll do this part, you do that part. That's it.
Randy goes, so you don't have to swear to God for an agreement? Now, we know that LIEnette, the pole dancing minister, likes to swear using God's name constantly, usually followed with a D word or some F words, S words, lots of different words. So Randy goes, that's the difference? You don't swear to God and you're in an agreement, but if you swear to God, that's a promise? You understand a promise to be something that is only before God? An agreement is something you just say you're going to do?
In my opinion, a promise is a promise and an agreement are two different things. Okay, then what did Crook do in exchange for you purchasing fully 100% of the property for $22,500? Did he promise to do something? And she's going off. Insanity. Randy goes, well, here we go again. Here we go again. It's happening again. We're done. We're done. We're absolutely done. We're going to go and move for sanctions. We're going to the judge. We're going to move to compel. A special master is going to have to come in here and control this witness. Saran Wrap interrupts on the record again. LIEnette, during this, as Randy says, we're going to go get a judge. We're going to go get a special magistrate, or we're going to get a special master to come in. We're going to propel for sanctions. She gets up and flees the deposition. Saran Wrap has no idea what's going on, what just happened. Saran Wrap goes, Randy, I think she's just getting flustered. I think we can maybe... He goes, no, she's gone. She just left. She exited the building. Saran Wrap goes, what? Michelle's gone? Insanity.
He goes, yeah, she literally just got up and she left. Saran Wrap goes, can we please go off the record now? Randy goes, yes, we'll go off the record. Court reporter goes, okay, so we're off the record now. Randy and Saran Wrap and I are talking off the record. And Randy goes to Saran Wrap, I can't do this. This is a hostile witness. It's been half an hour or more into questions at this point. This is just deja vu. This is happening all over again. And this is not appropriate. I don't know if you can or do something, if you can work with her to help her be better at this, but this is not happening. It's already 11 o'clock. We'll be here till 8 p.m. if she continues to do this. He goes, yeah, I know. It's a simple deposition. It shouldn't be this way. Now, LIEnette has a motion filed against her for more sanctions. There will most likely be a default judgment from the federal judge because she ditched her first depo. She dodged it. She dodged her first depo in this. Now she ditched her second depo. Saran Wrap never even had a clue she was even leaving. He tried to keep her under control the entire time. And in this deposition, we learned that LIEnette doesn't even know what her legal name is. We learned that LIEnette's legal name is not on the actual deed, and people online are not showing the actual deed. The legal deed does not have John Crook's name on it, and LIEnette tells us John Crook never paid for the property. All three structures were condemned by Levy County. There is no homestead exemption. They have been defrauding Levy County, claiming an exemption for homestead when they do not have a livable or legal home. A camper and a shed and a barn, a shell thing, aren't legal homesteads. They will have to pay back all the money to Levy County as well for defrauding them. And we already know the trustee's been offering me the property. Who do you think's going to get it?